Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The anxiety in Port Charles had been building for months, ever since the man they thought was Nathan West returned from the grave. He looked the same, piercing eyes, a strong jawline, and the confident stride that made him one of the PCPD's most dependable investigators. Maxie Jones had wept with excitement when he strolled back into her life, even as she recovered from the mysterious coma that had kept her out of action for months. Their children, James and Georgie, clung to him as if he were an anchor. Lulu Spencer, who had a tumultuous history with Nathan, found herself pulled to him again, her heart reigniting in unexpected ways. Despite the pleasant smiles and comfortable embraces, something was profoundly wrong. Britt Westbourne was aware of the situation, and soon, the entire town will discover the horrifying truth. Liesl Albrecht came off of the plane at Port Charles Airport with her customary haughty assurance, her luxury coat thrown theatrically over her shoulders. She'd been gone for what seemed like a lifetime, dealing with mysterious medical conferences and personal demons that only she could completely comprehend. When she last saw her family, things were fractured but bearable. Nathan, her loving son, whom she had abandoned years ago to shield him from his terrible father, Caesar Faison, had been slain in the line of duty. Or so everyone thought. Even before she landed, she heard whispers that Nathan was returned. Alive. Working at PCPD again. I became involved with Lulu once more. Albrecht's maternal impulses rose, but so did a deeper, more disturbing suspicion. Something about the air at Port Charles felt poisonous. Her first stop was not at the hospital or by her daughter's side. It was the Metro Court, where she was confident she would find answers among the usual faces. The lobby was alive with the usual chatter, business negotiations, gossip, and the occasional outburst from a quartermain. Albrecht searched the room, her sharp gaze settling on Jocelyn Jacks, who appeared abnormally agitated. The young woman approached her almost immediately, speaking softly and urgently. "Dr. Albrecht, I need to talk to you. It's about Nathan. Or whoever he is." Albrecht lifted an exquisite eyebrow. "Whoever he is? My dear, what nonsense are you spouting? My son has returned to us. Miracles do happen, even in this godforsaken town." Jocelyn looked about uneasily, leading Albrecht to a quieter place near the gardens. "You were gone when everything unfolded. The coma with Maxie, the way he just appeared. Britt's been acting strange. And there are these connections to Jen Sidwell. That man's dangerous, and Nathan would never align himself with such filth," Albrecht said, but her tone was not typical. Deep within, fragments of remembrance awoke. All those years ago, the pregnancy had been a nightmare, stashed away in a distant facility run by Faison. She remembered the pain, the anxiety, and the decision to smuggle one child to safety. But what about the details? They had always been fuzzy, masked by trauma and Faison's manipulation. Albrecht gradually returned to his life in Port Charles. She paid a visit to Britt at the hospital, where her daughter worked with the same ferocious determination that the Westbourne ladies were known for. Britt appeared fatigued, her eyes shaded by secrets she wasn't ready to reveal. They discussed ordinary topics at first, hospital politics, old grudges with the Cassidines, but the subject eventually drifted to Nathan. "He's different, Mother," Britt observed cautiously one evening over coffee in the doctor's lounge. Albrecht sipped her tea, her mind racing. Subtler changes. He remembers things he shouldn't, or forgets details only the real Nathan would know. And yet, everyone else is blind to it. "Explain." Britt hesitated before leaning forward. "I confronted him. Privately. He admitted it. He's not Nathan. His name is Cassius Faison. Our brother. Twin brother. Faison raised him in secret, twisted him into something dark. He's working with Sidwell and that corrupt WSB director, Cullum, embedding himself in the PCPD as a mole. The whole return was orchestrated. They poisoned Maxie to buy time for the switch." Albrecht was hit hard. "Twin." The word resonated in her head, unlocking doors that she had long kept locked. She remembered the hazy and altered ultrasound photos that Faison's physicians had given her. 2 heartbeats. She asked to see both infants, but Faison lied, alleging problems and swearing one was lost. She had trusted him despite her debilitated position after giving birth, being medicated and isolated. She snuck out the surviving newborn she thought was her sole son, Nathan, and handed him over to be raised out from Faison's reach. But there had been another. Cassius. His father took him, fashioned him into his image, and taught him in duplicity and villainy. My God, Albrecht said softly, her hand quivering. I gave birth to twins. And that monster, he stole one. Turned him into a weapon. Britt grimaced. Cassius has been playing the part perfectly. He even has feelings for Lulu now, complicating everything. But his loyalty is to Sidwell's agenda, revenge, power, whatever twisted legacy Faison left behind. We can't let this continue. The family is in danger. Maxie, the kids, Dante, everyone connected to Nathan's old life. Albrecht's face hardened into the mask of determination that had defined her through countless schemes and redemptions. Then we expose him, but not recklessly. This secret is horrific not only because of the deception, but also because of what it reveals about me, about what I allowed Faison to do. The revelation did not occur in a single explosive confrontation. It grew gradually, like a storm forming over Spoon Island. Albrecht began to observe Nathan from afar. At the PCPD, he prepared reports with mechanical efficiency, but lacked Nathan's real warmth toward his partners, Chase and Dante. At home with Maxie, his adoration appeared theatrical, but Maxie, who was still fragile after her tragedy, clung to the hope of her husband's return. And with Lulu, Cassius's increasing attachment exposed flaws in his armor. He paused during intimate moments, caught between the role and the man he was becoming. Albrecht scheduled a private meeting one afternoon at her old hospital lab area, which had been repurposed for research. She invited Cassius as if it were a mother-son reunion, complete with handmade strudel and travel anecdotes. He arrived dressed like a detective, with a button-down shirt, a badge fastened to his belt, and that familiar swagger. But Albrecht saw through it all. His pace was slightly hesitant, and his eyes sought for exits like a man schooled in espionage rather than justice. My boy, she murmured affectionately, hugging him. Her arms tightened slightly too much, feeling for Nathan's recognizable scar from a childhood accident. It was not there. Cassius pulled back effortlessly. Mother, it's good to see you back. Poor Charles has missed your unique presence. They sat, exchanging pleasantries. Albrecht explored lightly at first. Tell me about your time away. The resurrection, as they call it. It must have been traumatic. Cassius began into the rehearsed tale of captivity, escape, and rehabilitation in hiding. Albrecht listened, nodding, but her questioning became more pointed. And the details of your capture by Faison all those years ago? You never spoke much about it before your death. He paused for a little moment. It was chaos. Better left in the past. But the past has a way of resurfacing, Albrecht said, her voice lowering to a menacing whisper. Especially when a mother knows her children's hearts. Nathan would have asked about his sister first. About Britt's health, her struggles. You asked about the PCPD budget and Sidwell's latest business ventures. The air in the room thickened. Cassius' fingers twitched toward the area where a weapon could be hidden. What are you implying? Albrecht stood there, circling the table like a tiger. I know, Cassius. I remember the pregnancy. 2 sons. Faison lied to me, told me one was stillborn or lost. He took you, raised you in his shadow, filled your head with his poison. You are not Nathan. You are his twin, stolen and corrupted. And now you sit here, wearing his face, sleeping in his bed, holding his family, while plotting with Sidwell to tear this town apart. Cassius rose slowly, his expression shifting to cold, calculating. The mask slipped completely. You figured it out faster than I expected. Britt told you. Britt confirmed what my instincts already screamed, Albrecht replied. But the horror runs deeper than your impersonation. This secret exposes the rot at the core of our family. Faison didn't just kill and scheme. He fractured life itself. 2 identical boys, one given love and purpose, the other forged into a tool for destruction. You could have been like Nathan, honorable, but instead, you chose his path. Cassius grinned, echoing Faison's own brutality. Chose? There was no choice. He raised me on stories of power, of how the weak like you handed me over. Nathan got the fairy tale, adoption, a badge, a wife. I got training camps, assassinations, and the knowledge that my own mother abandoned me. Sidwell offered me a chance to claim what should have been mine. The life, the respect, the woman. Lulu looks at me and sees Nathan, but she feels something real. I won't give that up. Albrecht's eyes sparkled. Real? It's built on lies. When the truth comes out, and it will, Lulu will see the monster wearing her lover's skin. Maxie will mourn all over again. The children will be scarred. And the PCPD? You'll be exposed as a mole, endangering every officer who trusts you. The confrontation escalated as Cassius paced, revealing fragments of his plan. Sidwell's strategy included smuggling, corporate espionage with former Faison assets, and a bigger plan to disrupt Port Charles elites such as Sonny Corinthos and the Cassidines. Cassius had been supplying information, covering tracks, and even concealing key secrets, such as Rocco Falconeri's role in a shooting, to keep his cover. However, his burgeoning affections for Lulu hindered the task. He admits to being hesitant to issue directives that would hurt innocent people that Nathan would have protected. You see? Albrecht asked. There is still a spark of something better in you. The twin bond, perhaps. Blood calling to blood. Walk away from Sidwell. Help me expose him. We can find a way to redeem this nightmare. Cassius paused, staring at her with a mix of bitterness and uncharacteristic love. Redemption? For the son you forgot existed? Too late, mother. Nathan died a hero. I live as the villain who replaced him. If I come clean now, I lose everything, including the only woman who's ever made me feel like more than Faison's shadow. The growing divide spread quietly through Port Charles. Britt confided in a few people, including her difficult relationships with medical staff. Jocelyn, ever the investigator, cobbled together more information following her conversation with Albrecht. Anna Devane, who was already suspicious about Faison appearances, suspected the deception was linked to wider WSB wrongdoing involving Cullum. Even Maxie began to notice inconsistencies. Nathan's favorite coffee order was slightly off, and a story from their history was delivered erroneously. The climax was a family gathering at the Corinthos house, ostensibly a welcome-back celebration for Albrecht and Nathan. E-room was filled with familiar faces. Maxie clutching James' hand, Lulu exchanging glances with a man she mistook for her old flame, Britt standing guard near her mother, Dante and Chase laughing about old cases. Albrecht waited until the dessert dish. When the talk subsided, she rose, glass in hand, but instead of toasting, she revealed the truth that would shatter the facade. Family, she said, her German accent swelling with emotion. We have celebrated miracles before in this town. Returns from the brink, second chances. But today, I must reveal a truth so horrific it threatens to undo us all. The man sitting here, embraced as my son Nathan, is not him. Gasps echoed across the room. Maxie dropped her fork. Lulu's face turned pale. His name is Cassius Faison, Albrecht said, her voice firm despite the tears that welled. Cassius, Nathan's identical twin, was stolen at birth by Caesar Faison, who deceived me into believing I had only one child. I smuggled Nathan away to safety, but Cassius was raised in darkness, shaped into an instrument of revenge and control. This return was a carefully orchestrated invasion of our lives. He has impersonated Nathan to infiltrate the PCPD and manipulate those we love, all while pursuing a dangerous agenda. Maxie screamed denials and drew her children close. Lulu stood up and confronted Cassius directly. Is this true? Every touch, every word. Was it all a lie? Cassius held her eyes as the performance came to an end. Not all of it. I fell for you, Lulu. As myself, not just the role. Nathan's memories, his life, they became mine. But yes, I am Cassius. And I won't apologize for surviving the way I did. Britt supported her mother, describing the proof. Dante reached for his cuffs, but Chase stopped, divided between years of partnership. Sunny, ever the guardian, wanted information regarding Sidwell's threats. The room devolved into accusations, tears, and open conflict. Despite the chaos, Albrecht took Cassius aside. "This secret has haunted me without my even knowing it. The horror isn't just your deception, it's the legacy of Faison living on through you. 2 suns, 1 light, 1 shadow. But shadows can choose to step into the light. Help us bring down Sidwell. Testify. Perhaps then, redemption is possible." Cassius gazed upon the faces around him. Anger, betrayal, dread. Lulu's eyes, however, still showed a flicker of connection. "I need time. This life, it's the only one I've known is real. But if I walk away from Sidwell, they'll come for me. For all of us." The aftermath lasted several weeks. The PCPD's investigations intensified, with internal affairs scrutinizing every case Nathan touched. Maxie filed for divorce, her trust shattered, and she struggled with grief for the real Nathan all over again. Lulu withdrew herself but couldn't completely let go, her heart torn between memories and the man who had actually cared for her in his twisted manner. Britt and Albrecht worked relentlessly to learn more about Cassius' childhood, piecing together how Faison fabricated the twins' death and groomed him via secret networks. Cassius, trapped, began sending Albrecht selective information, such as the whereabouts of Sidwell's shipments and the identities of corrupt associates. It wasn't a complete betrayal of his allies, but a gradual transition. The horrifying secret had shattered the family, revealing flaws while also generating unexpected alliances. Albrecht, once a villain, found meaning in atoning for the child she never realized she had lost. In quiet moments, she sat with Cassius in a safe place, telling stories of her pregnancy, worry, and the love she would have given her sons. "You were never abandoned by choice. Faison stole your chance for normalcy, but you can reclaim it now." He listened, the sharp edges softening gradually. The twin link, long suppressed, began to emerge in little ways, instinctive gestures, shared humor, and mutual loathing for Faison's remaining influence. Port Charles, as strong as ever, took the shock. Sidwell's response posed new challenges, but the revelation brought unlikely heroes together. Anna went after WSB leads, Jason Morgan provided muscle, and even Sunny promised security in exchange for information. Cassius and Nathan's narrative became a cautionary tale whispered around the Metro Court and the Floating Rib, warning against the pitfalls of unbridled legacy, the sorrow of maternal regret, and the thin line between identity and performance. Albrecht's disclosure did more than just reveal an imposter. It compelled everyone to confront their own secrets, their ability to forgive, and the enduring strength of family, no matter how broken. Cassius was forced to make a decision as the weeks passed into months. Remain the evil in Nathan's flesh, or choose a new path in which the awful secret serves as a catalyst for change rather than destruction. Albrecht looked over him, determined that no more of her children would be lost to the darkness. Finally, the drama of General Hospital demonstrated that in Port Charles, no secret is ever truly hidden. And when it emerges, it has the ability to destroy or heal